My name is Peter M. Mencken. I am the Accommodation Support Specialist here at Flagler College. I help students with disabilities here at Flagler. Today, I want to show you how to read your textbooks on Kurzweil 3000 for successful learning comprehension. All of the features that I list in the web version will be in the computer-installed version of Kurzweil as well. Read the web Kurzweil will have different feature sets, some similar, but more limited. Without further ado, let's get started. I have logged onto Kurzweil3000.com and am using the online version of Kurzweil 3000. To start, let's click on the Browse My Universal Library button. This button brings you from the Kurzweil main menu to your Kurzweil Universal Library where your files are located. When in the Universal Library, I want you to choose either your public or private folder to begin an upload. All uploaded files go to the file folder you are in when you choose to upload. I want you to click on the Upload button. This will bring you to your File Explorer to choose a file you wish to read. You can browse anywhere in your File Explorer to find a file or e-textbook. For example, I am choosing an astronomy text that I want to read. Once uploaded, I am going to open the file in the file folder that the e-file was imported to. So let's select a file, for example, have that upload, and let's open it. Click on the title of the file to open it. Now that we are in the file, let's demonstrate features that you may find beneficial when reading text. If you are reading for more than one subject, it is a great idea to associate a different voice for different subjects and text to increase greater memory association for the subject. For example, let's choose Peter for psychology text and Tamira for history text. This is a mnemonic device to associate the voice with the subject. Good for all learners. When changing the voice, click on the Setting audio icon. Locate the list of voices. Click on the pull-down menu and find the voice that you want. For example, I will select Peter, UK English. Let's click on a word and have the voice read to us.
James Ferguson, Astronomy Explained upon Sir Isaac Newton's Principles, and Made Easy to Those Who Have Not Studied Mathematics, 1757. Long before anyone knew that the universe had a beginning, before we knew that the nearest large galaxy lies 2.5 million light-years from Earth, before we knew how stars work or whether atoms exist, James Ferguson's enthusiastic introduction to his favorite science rang true. Yet his words, apart from their 18th century flourish, could have been written yesterday.
Now I will select a different voice. I will select Tamira, United States. Let's go ahead, select a word, and have the voice read to us.
Yet the cosmic view comes with a hidden cost. When I travel thousands of miles to spend a few moments in the fast-moving shadow of the moon during a total solar eclipse, sometimes I lose sight of Earth. When I pause and reflect on our expanding universe, with its galaxies hurtling away from one another, embedded within the ever-stretching, four-dimensional fabric of space and time, sometimes I forget that uncounted people walk this earth without food or shelter, and that children are disproportionately represented among them. When I pore over the data that establishes...
Remember, be consistent with your voices, assigning one voice per subject. reading speed. Let's click on the gear audio icon. Locate the reading speed setting with the arrows. For example, let's go ahead and set the reading speed as 2x fast. I will hover my mouse out of the icon pop-up, left-click on a word, and have Kurzweil play the reading.
As grown-ups, dare we admit to ourselves that we, too, have a collective immaturity of view? Dare we admit that our thoughts and behaviors spring from a belief that the world revolves around us? Apparently not, and the evidence abounds. Part the curtains of society's racial, ethnic, religious, national, and cultural conflicts, and you find a human ego turning the knobs and pulling the levers. Now imagine a world in which everyone, but especially people with power and influence, holds an expanded view of our place in the cosmos. With that perspective, our problems would shrink, or never rise at all, and we could celebrate our earthly differences while shunning the behavior of our predecessors who slaughtered each other because of them.
Let's go ahead and change the reading speed to 2x slow by repeating our steps for changing the speed. Click on the gear, select the speed, select a word, and press play.
Within. How could that be? Every time I see the space show and others we've produced, I feel alive and spirited and connected. I also feel large, knowing that the goings-on within the 3-pound human brain are what enabled us to figure out our place in the universe. Allow me to suggest that it's the professor, not I, who has misread nature. His ego was too big to begin with, inflated by delusions of significance, and fed by cultural assumptions that human beings are more important than everything else in the universe.
That is the reading speed. You can adjust it to whatever pace you want to fit your preferred reading speed for the best comprehension possible. Unit. If we go back into the setting audio icon, locate a group of buttons called Unit. A unit is how much of the text is highlighted in one color and each word highlighted in another. We recommend that the unit be set to sentence. Unit choices are all about tracking. This is a visual way to follow along with the reading. That is the unit feature of reading out loud. Let's move to the next feature. Think of mode as a self-paced reading of the text. Click on the setting audio icon, locate the group of buttons called Mode. If you click on Continuous, Kurzweil will continue to read the text until you click on Pause. Let's test Continuous out by listening to the text.
In all fairness to the fellow, powerful forces in society leave most of us susceptible, as was I. Until the day I learned in biology class that more bacteria live and work in 1 centimeter of my colon than the number of people who have ever existed in the world. That kind of information makes you think twice about who, or what, is actually in charge.
Now let's try self-paced. Self-paced allows Kurzweil to read only the amount of material you want before it stops. For example, if you choose self-paced paragraph, it will read the entire paragraph before stopping. If you choose self-paced sentence, it will read one sentence on its own. Pacing is all about you and how much you want to start and stop Kurzweil. For example, let's have Kurzweil read a self-paced paragraph to us.
In all fairness to the fellow, powerful forces in society leave most of us susceptible.
Background contrast. In Kurzweil 3000, there is a way to customize your textbook's design or appearance. This feature would be a great way to configure a unique learning memorization for different subjects. For example, if you want to associate green with a textbook about nature or blue with a textbook about coding, you can do that on Kurzweil. To do that, select the document magnifying glass icon. There will be a custom color chooser with a color you want to choose, or Kurzweil has colors that you can select from. So it would be under color options, and you click on the arrow in background color. I am going to select green under the provided Kurzweil choices. There you go. Our background color is green. Let's move on to our next feature. Magnify spoken word. If you ever wanted to focus your eye on one word while tracking text, Kurzweil has this feature called Magnify Spoken Word. This is a very good feature if you want to interpret words in a reading very closely or have trouble grasping the words in a book. If you wanted to do this, click on the document magnifying glass icon. Click on Magnify Spoken Word, an icon with a pair of binoculars. Click your cursor before a word, press the play button to have the reader read to you.
When I track the orbits of asteroids, comets, and planets, each one a pirouetting dancer in a cosmic ballet choreographed by the forces of gravity, sometimes I forget that too many people act in wanton disregard for the delicate interplay of Earth's atmosphere, oceans, and land, with consequences that our children and our children's children will witness and pay for with their health and well-being.
See how an individual word pops up on a content pop-up button? The word that the reader reads is focused in the content pop-up. The amount of time that the word pops up on the content pop-up is dependent on the reading speed and unit. Let's go to the next tool. Sometimes when reading, there are words that you do not understand. Kurzweil has a dictionary. Simply highlight the word you need to find. For example, planetarium. In the checklist paper icon, select the magnifying glass book icon. Select which dictionary you want to use. Let's have the dictionary read out loud to us.
Planetarium, noun, plural, planetariums or planetaria, an apparatus or model representing the solar system, an optical device for projecting images of celestial bodies and other astronomical phenomena onto the inner surface of a hemispherical dome, a building or room containing a planetarium, with seats for an audience.
That is the dictionary. Let's move on to the next feature. Emphasis tools. In Kurzweil, there are so many ways to pay attention to details, such as important words or sentences, when reading. Let's go ahead and introduce you to some of the tools and scenarios where this could be beneficial. The highlighter color. I want you to picture yourself reading a book for an academic class. Think about how you would take notes in a book. It is common to place a highlight in a book for words, sentences within the pages. In Kurzweil, you can do that. In Kurzweil, select the highlighter icon. To choose a color, select the down arrow next to the highlighter icon. You can change the color by selecting one of the highlighter colors from the list. For now, I am going to select yellow. I'm going to hover out of the content selection to go to the reading. Let's go ahead and highlight a sentence that has primary information. Now I'm going to select a different color, cyan, for example. And now I'm going to highlight a sentence with secondary information. I will select a third color, which will be pink, which will have tertiary information. Once you've selected the information you believe to be important, you can create outlines, brainstorms, and study guides. Let's demonstrate the creation of an outline. Now I am going to show you how to create an outline. Click on Extract Note Highlights. Select Column Notes. Make sure to select all the highlighter options regardless of the amount of colors used. Click OK. On the top right of the column note, click on Extract Column Notes to outline. Now that your outline is created, you can make or add any primary, secondary information in your own words within the outline. For example, I will add a subtopic, and I will write I said, it is society's role to explore the cosmos as a result of playing a role as global citizens. To create a study guide in Kurzweil, click on Extract Notes Highlights. Select Study Guide. Ignore the pop-up and press OK. The study guide extracts the highlights and notes that you developed from the text. You can add or delete any form of text as needed. This is just a quick introduction of the power of reading with Kurzweil 3000. In future videos, we will be covering writing Kurzweil, creating study materials with Kurzweil, and more in-depth options available in Kurzweil 3000. If you have questions after watching this video, contact me at pmankin@flagler.edu, pmankin@flagler.edu. Thank you so much for watching, have a great day, and have fun navigating Kurzweil 3000.